You having problems with Simon? You having problems with Simon? I know I was. I try to fight him legit. I try to be a man. Try to put my dukes up. Straight up fight him, full team. But he's a cheeser, bro. And at the end of the day, halfway through it, he smokes your entire team and you have to start another one. That is ridiculous. So, I got you, man. You want to one-shot him? You want to finish the game? You love the game, right? I love it too, man. But some of these last bosses are a little too difficult. I got you, man. You know who's going to help you? Your girl Mei Lee, man. She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT out of this whole... She really has main character syndrome out of this whole game. No one is better than Mei Lee in this game. I will not lie to you. So we're going to go through a build on how to one-shot Simon. And if you can one-shot Simon, that means you can one-shot everybody in the game. Because he has the highest health. Him and Clay. But she got up out of here too. So, let's get into it. The build we are going with starts with the Maldium. This is the best weapon. This is the best weapon she has in the game. You can get it early. If you played this game, or you're just starting to play the game and you see this video, when you go to the arena in the Gestural Village, you want to play it with Mael. She can get this sword early. Otherwise, you have to fight the main boss of the Gestural Village, and she's really hard to actually beat in this game. She's probably like the third hardest boss in the game. She has like her combo strings, you can notice them, but they're so hard hitting for a one-on-one, and she goes a lot of times. She's extremely fast. She'll go like 3 times in a row. So if you can, you want to get it from the arena so that you don't even have to deal with that, to be honest with you. Cook up. And the real bee's knees about it is that it starts you off in Virtuals. There's no longer the need, even if you don't have Cheater, you can have Cheater in this. I would recommend you have Cheater just because you're going to be fighting other bosses and other things that are multiples. But you want to have this sword, this is the main thing, so that you can start her on Virtual Stance and your first move can be the deadliest. As you can see, I got it all the way up to 33. We're going to go through the peak toes that you have. As you can see, I have Survivor, Power Shield. These are really for the crit rates. This is what it's really for. It's to bring my crit rate up. I should have 100, but 88 is pretty good. But if you can get it to 100, that'd be perfect. I can take one of these off now because I have enough Luminous, and put another one that has more crit, and then just get that one as a Luminous. But these are the Survivor is pretty great because it leaves you at 1 health when you're about to die. We're gonna go into the build why I use Survivor. You'll understand it afterwards. In Medias Res, I believe that's the name of it. It gives you 3 shields. 3 shields when you start out, but your max health is half. It doesn't matter because we're not going to be having a lot of health. We're going to be having 1 HP this whole fight. And then Powerful Shield. Powerful Shield gives you 10% increased damage per shield point. So when you start out, you'll have 3 shields, which means you'll have 30% more on top of that already. So let's go into the Pictos that we're using, or the Lumina, I should say. Straight from the top to the bottom. Since you're going to be fighting alone, when you go to the arena, there's a Gestural Arena on when you first get your mount and you're able to swim in the water. You can go there. When you fight all the bosses there, you get a whole bunch of fighting alone Luminous that are perfect. Accelerating Last Stand, you gain Rush right away. At Death's Door, this is perfect for the build that we're using. Death's Door gives you 50% more damage as long as you are under 10% health. We're going to be stacking everything that gives us more damage because of something else. Augmented counter, you can take these off. You don't need these. Augmented counters, we can take those off because you might not have as much luminous as I have. So you wanna, if you have to be sparing, this is what you can go. 50% increase on the damage on the first hit, once per battle. You need that. That's another 50 on top of the 30. We at 80% now. 80% more damage than what we're supposed to be doing already. I use auto shell. Auto shell is very important. You need auto shell as well. You don't really need beneficial contaminant. That's more for my playthrough afterwards. Increased break damage. You don't really need that neither. And just in case you need more points, you can take off charging burn. You need cheater. You can go without cheater because you can one-shot people, but for after this, when you go to other places, cheater is necessary. But since you're going first, and if you have the full build and you don't have cheater, you'll be fine because you really only need one time. One time is fine with me. You really only need one time, but I would suggest 2 if you can have it. You don't need cleansing tent. Confident. You take 50% less damage, but you can't be healed. You don't really need that because you're not going to be getting hit. Now, confident fighter, you need this. It increases the damage, but you can't be healed. We're not going to get healed. That's the one thing you have to put in your mind. We're not going to get healed at all. You don't need dead energies because you're mostly only going to be fighting one person. Now, if you're fighting a boss rush, if you're in the endless tower, keep dead energy and dead energy 2 on. So when you kill people, you'll get all your points back right away. And you'll be able to do it again, especially if you have cheater. Then you'll be able to do the move twice and destroy 2 bosses in 1 turn. Empowering last stand. This is one of the fighting alone ones I told you about in the arena. Amazing. It gives you powerful right off the rip. You're going to need a whole bunch of energizing starts. As you can see, I have 4 of them. And energizing turn. Also on top of that, energizing master. These give you AP at the start of it because we want to be at 9 AP immediately. As soon as the match starts, we want to be at 9 AP so that we can get the move off as well. Energy master, you gain 1 AP. Every AP gain is increased by 1. That means any of these, you see, since we get AP 1, these all turn into 2s. This turn into 2, this turn into 2, and also this one is more important. Now we're going to be getting 2 AP a turn. Very important. It's a very important Picto /Lumina, but you have to have the points for it. You can get this where you fight Simon at. All the monsters around there, they all drop color of luminance. So you can get, I would recommend probably getting to 400 at least, which is very fast. They drop like 2 luminous a fight. You're gonna be out of there before you know it. First offensive, you deal for your first hit. You deal 50% more damage. Again, we're really focusing on the first hit. We're gonna get them out of here on the first hit. Play first strike is a must because you need to go first. You don't want to get hit because a few of these buffs go off and you take 50% more damage. You don't have the health. You deal glass cannon, another must. You deal 25% more damage, but you take 25 more. Remember, we're going first. Doesn't matter. Greater powerful. You need this. This is a must as well. 15% more damage for just having powerful on. Remember, we have Empowering Last Stand on. It's going to give us powerful right from the beginning. You don't need Greater Shell for the bosses. I would say you can keep that. Like for the other bosses, you don't specifically need it here for Leon, so you can take it off. Same thing with Greater Rush if you don't want to spend the 10 points. Immaculate, 30% more damage until a hit is received. Since we're going first, does not matter, right? We're not gonna get hit because we're gonna be doing the hitting, and they're gonna be hitting the floor. It's only gonna be 2 hits. In Midas Rias, like I said before, must have, because it also increases your chances of not dying because you have the shields. And like if you do mess up and get hit once or twice, you can recover from that with it being at 1 HP. Inverted Infinity is pretty good because it starts you inverted, which means you can't heal yourself, but we have a whole build of not healing ourselves. So we're just going to stack on another thing that stops us from healing because it doesn't matter. We're not going to be healing anything. And it gives you 50% more damage while inverted. Last Stand Critical, 100% crits, which is why my crit rate doesn't really matter. It's not so it turns into 188. Of course, Painted Power. I shouldn't have to say this. If you're in the 3rd act, you know you need Painted Power. You have to exceed over 999. Must have. Powerful on Shell. You don't really need this because like I have both autos, but powerful on Shell is if you're playing with a team. Powerful Shield helps with the in Midas Rias, since you get 10% for each point of shield that you have on. You get an extra 30% on your damage. We are stacking damage on it. Protected Last Stand. That's if you're fighting alone, then you don't need auto shell. You don't need auto powerful. If you're going to fight alone, I suggest that you do these alone. Have her solo them so that she gets all of these buffs right away. Revive Paradox, if you have it, it's really good. Especially if you don't crit. If you do not crit him, you have to watch out. He might do something crazy to you. But if you don't bring him down to a certain extent, then you don't have to worry about it. And if he kills you, you can go again. And then you can definitely 2-shot him if you couldn't 1-shot him. But with this build, I guarantee you, most likely just gonna 1-shot. Second Chance is good if you have it, but with Simon specifically, you're not really gonna get a set. You're gonna wake back up and he's gonna have 3 more turns. So you're gonna be dead anyway. You don't want to worry about getting res mostly. Shield Infinity, 30% more damage for having shields. This one is tricky. You can have it, you cannot, because it messes with the powerful shield and the in Midas Res. And I said in Midas Res. Because if you do get hit, you lose all your shields right away. But keeping in mind, we're not trying to get hit, so it shouldn't matter, right? Shield Infinity is pretty good. Sniper, you want to keep this on just in case. On most bosses, if they have their break all the way up, you can just shoot them one time with the free aim, get them into stun mode, and you do damn near double the damage when anybody's in stun mode. Solo Fighter, another one of the best Pictos that you can get from that arena that I was talking about. 50% more damage just for fighting alone. You really can't beat that. Stun boost, this is why I say you keep Sniper on. If you do end up breaking his guard, you get a 30% more damage so you can cook him. You have Survival on because we also have auto death on. Remember how I said you have auto death. So you always want to have Survivor on top of. Just make sure I have it on. Yeah, auto death right here. It's gonna kill you from the start of the game. So since you have Survivor, you're gonna survive fatal damage with once per battle. So when the match starts, you're gonna go to 1. That auto death should kill you, but because you have Survivor, it's gonna put you at 1 HP, which is gonna unlock multiple. Appreciate you, bro. Which is gonna unlock multiple Pictos at once, so that you can get an insane damage boost. You want to put Tainted on. You don't need teamwork unless you're doing this with a full team. You're going to put Tainted on because you get 15% damage increase for having a status effect on yourself. And Inverted is considered a status effect. So you're getting 15% just for being inverted on top of all of the other percentages that we already had. Warming up is a great one too, because you get a 5% right away. I can understand if people don't want to put this one on. You might not need it. You might, depending on how much damage you have, depending on how high of a level your blade is as well. I recommend having that blade at full level 33, because then it has an S rating that you can go off of. This is my build. You don't need weakness. This is my build that I use to one-shot almost every boss in the game. We'll go through the stats as well. Well, we can go through the abilities since we're here. The abilities that you're really going to be using, you're not going to be using almost any of this. If you don't, let's say you don't have the blade, you might want to try Last Chance, and then Stonehau. But what you're really going to be using is Stonehau over and over and over again. Let's go to the moon. Deals extreme single target void damage, removes self shields, self-applies defenses. So you're going to be defenseless after this, but it's not really going to matter. Trust me. You see my attack power? Do you see it? I don't even have a lot of health. We're going to go through my actual stat line. I have recolors by this point. But might isn't as important as you would think. What is important is the weapon that you're using is to make sure I'm going to play Tabo after this. Is the weapon that you're using, you want to upgrade into that. So on here, I get an A and an S from defense. So me raising these are going to give me more attack power than actually raising my might. Yeah, I know they're about to nerf him. That's why I'm about to beat the game again before they do that. Because she's one-shotting everything. But and then when I beat it over again, I'm not beating all the side quests. I'm going straight to the boss. I'm going straight through the story. I'm not doing none of the extra. Oh yeah. So what you want to build in is what they classify in. I get an S from defense, I get an A for that. Putting these up gives me more attack power than actually putting your might up. You're going to get more value. Yeah, maybe. You're going to get more value from defense and agility than you will get from might, vitality, or luck. When your agility and defense is what you want to work on, when those are fill up, you can also put up your luck for the crits. Because you want to crit, and if you have any points left over, then you go into might. You should be around 70, at least 80 when you fight him. Well, at least 70, closer to 80 when you fight him. These are the stats that I use. I've showed you the weapon that I use. Showed you the skills that I use. So now we're going to go into it. And I'm just going to show you a test battle If you remember, this guy was a boss at one point. Not that it matters. Look at all of those. Look at all of those buffs that just popped up. When you're fighting multiple people, you want to use Phantom Strike.
Prepare for annihilation.
2 milli. 2 milli on their head top. You see that damage? Look. They have 83,000 health. 4 damage. Watch him revel. Game.
I can do it.
Blouses. These are all in-game monsters. The highest damage I did was 97 million damage. 97 million damage. There was nothing they could do about what just happened. This is what this will lead to you one-shotting everybody in this game. Soon as you get that, the other characters, if you want to get them up there, you can. But as we all know, the goddess Mael is her. You're always going to look bloody, unfortunately, because you have 1 HP. So the fit's always going to look nasty. But it's worth the damage, trust me. And this is my how to one-shot Simon. If you guys want any more builds on any other characters, make sure to drop it in the comments. Holla at your boy. They are going to nerf her soon. So, what does that mean? If you don't want to fight Simon, please hurry up. Hurry up and finish this. You can do it with other people. A few other good choices are Verso. Verso's pretty good. And Seal. She can be pretty good too. As soon as you understand like the complications of her, she can be really good. And she has intervention, which she can make a person go again. So if you have Cheeto on that person, you can make them go again. Mael. If you make Mael go again, you can do people dirty too. So you don't automatically have to one-shot everybody in here. I understand some people do not like it, but some of these bosses are ridiculous. If you guys got to the middle of Simon or the beginning of Simon when he does his attacks, you have to block him, reflect him twice. And he swings about 4 times, so you have to reflect him 8 times to even get a parry. Then when he gets about half health, he turns into like Demon Simon, and now you have to block 3 times. You have to reflect 3 times in a row for 4 or 5 swings. It's ridiculous. And if you get hit by 1 or 2 of them, you're dead. There's not enough defense and health in the world or shields to stop that. But yeah, make sure to like the video. Make sure to drop it in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel. If you want any other builds, man. I am going to start the Loon one next because she becomes pretty cracked with the Elemental Trick and the Elemental Genesis. At first, I was not using those moves at all, but trust me, she's another demon. No one is better than Mael, but we can get there. We can get there. Don't be a bird, you berg.
Don't be a bird, you bird.
Oh, it means.
You shot.